They're lighting fires to save forests, and it's working.
Wait, lighting fires on purpose?
On purpose, and not just anywhere. Right here in eastern Arizona on Fort Apache Reservation, the White Mountain Apache Tribe is using fire the way their ancestors did for thousands of years. And what they're doing, it's changing everything we thought about wildfire management.
So this isn't about fighting fire with fire. This is about healing with fire.
Exactly, and today we're diving into how ancient knowledge is becoming the future of forest health and why the rest of the country is starting to pay attention.
All right, so let's set the scene. Fort Apache Reservation, 1.6 million acres in the White Mountains of Arizona, ponderosa pine forest, alpine meadows, and some of the most biodiverse ecosystems in the Southwest.
Absolutely stunning. But for decades, this land, like most of the American West, was managed by a policy of total fire suppression. Every fire, no matter how small, got put out immediately.
Which sounds logical, right? Fire bad, no fire good.
That's what the U.S. Forest Service thought for over a century. But here's the problem. These forests evolved with fire. Lightning strikes, natural burns, and most importantly, intentional burning by indigenous peoples kept the underbrush clear, the grass is healthy, and the big trees thriving.
So when you suppress all fire,
you get fuel buildup, dense thickets of saplings, dead wood piling up, grasslands turning into shrubland, and when the fire does start, whether from lightning or human cause, it doesn't just burn, it explodes.
Megafires.
Megafires, the kind that crown through the canopy, fertilize the soil, and leave nothing but ash, the kind we've been seeing more and more across the West.
So the White Mountain Apache saw this happening and said, "We know a different way."
They didn't just say it, they've been doing it for over 30 years now. And the results, they're remarkable.
So let's talk about what cultural burning actually looks like, because this isn't just someone striking a match and walking away.
Not even close. The White Mountain Apache have a sophisticated fire management program, one of the most advanced in the country. They employ their own wildland firefighters, many of whom come from families with generations of traditional ecological knowledge.
Traditional ecological knowledge, TEK. That's the term for the deep, place-based understanding that indigenous communities have developed over thousands of years of living with the land.
Right, and what's incredible is how they're blending that ancestral knowledge with modern fire science. They work closely with the Bureau of Indian Affairs and the U.S. Forest Service using weather models, GPS mapping, and controlled burn protocols.
But the why and the when, that comes from traditional knowledge.
Exactly. They're reading the landscape the way their grandparents did, observing plant cycles, animal behavior, moisture levels. They know that different areas need fire at different times, some every few years, some more frequently.
And they're not just burning for fire prevention, they're burning for restoration.
Yes, these burns are clearing out invasive species, bringing back native grasses that elk and deer depend on, creating habitat for birds, and even improving water quality in the streams.
Wait, how does fire improve water quality?
When you reduce the density of trees and restore grasslands, more snowmelt and rainfall can actually reach soil instead of being absorbed by overgrown vegetation. Plus, healthy grasslands filter runoff better than degraded shrubland.
So fire isn't just preventing megafires, it's restoring entire ecosystems.
Exactly, and the numbers back it up. Since the White Mountain Apache began their fire program in the 1990s, they've treated over 400,000 acres with prescribed burns. Fort Apache Reservation has had significantly fewer catastrophic fires than surrounding areas, even during extreme drought years.
That's not a coincidence.
Not at all. And other tribes and federal agencies are taking notice. The Apaches are now training fire crews from across the country, sharing their methods, their philosophy.
So here's the question that keeps coming up for me. If this works so well, and it clearly does, why isn't this the standard everywhere?
That's the uncomfortable question, isn't it?
I mean, we're talking about knowledge that's been here for thousands of years, knowledge that was actively suppressed, dismissed, and even criminalized during periods of forced assimilation. And now, a century of federal fire policy later, we're realizing that they were right all along.
It's hard not to see the irony. The Forest Service banned indigenous burning practices in the early 1900s, believing that they knew better. And now those same agencies are asking tribes like the White Mountain Apache to teach them how to manage the land.
So should more tribes be leading the way in managing America's forests?
I think the better question is, why weren't they from the start? But yes, across the West, there's a growing movement to return fire management to indigenous communities. Co-management agreements, tribal sovereignty over ancestral lands, integrating TEK into federal policy.
And for the White Mountain Apache, this isn't just about trees and grass. This is about identity, culture, and healing.
Let's talk about that, because this is where the story goes deeper than forestry.
For the White Mountain Apache, fire is medicine. It's not a tool or a tactic. It's a relationship.
Right. An Apache tradition. The land isn't something that you manage from a distance. You're part of it. You tend it. You listen to it. You give back to it. Fire is one of the ways you do that.
And when fire was taken away, when the federal government banned cultural burning, it wasn't just an environmental loss. It was a cultural one.
Exactly. Younger generations lost the knowledge, the connection, the ceremonies and stories that go with the practice of burning.
So when the tribe restarted their fire program, it wasn't just about preventing wildfires. It was about reclaiming something that was taken from them.
And you can feel that in the way that they talk about their work. I've read interviews with Apache fire crews, and they describe going out on burns with their elders, learning not just how to read smoke and wind, but why it matters, what it means to their people.
It's cultural renewal, ecological restoration, and cultural restoration happening at the same time.
That's the piece that's missing from so much of the mainstream conservation conversation. We treat land management like it's purely scientific, purely technical, but for indigenous communities, it's inseparable from culture. It's spirituality from identity.
Which means the solutions aren't just about better forestry. They're about justice, about listening, about making space for knowledge systems that have been here all along.
The White Mountain Apache aren't waiting for permission anymore. They're leading, and the land is responding.
Grasslands are coming back. Wildlife populations are thriving. The risk of catastrophic fire is dropping.
And maybe, just maybe, the future of fire management in the West isn't some new technology or silver bullet.
Maybe it's ancient wisdom finally being heard.
Thanks for watching. If this story moved you, share it. Let's amplify the voices that have been here all along.
And as always, get outside, explore responsibly, and never stop learning. We'll see you out there.